All right. There he is, ready to rock and roll. How you feeling, man? You feeling good?
Good, good. One more weekend before I really lock in for work here. So,
What's the first day
kind of,
finally? Have they said? I don't
oh
even know.
well, report day is Tuesday, the 23rd, and then of course they start with the practice. That's just media. Very next day, per
The
per
20,
usual. Yeah.
so the 24th is probably when we can report. We can go for the first time. You think?
As far as media, yeah. Which apologies to the Dolphins. I know they don't like it getting publicized when they're practicing, but every year it is like that.
Yeah. Normally it's the day right after. The day
Yes, yeah.
after the veterans report. It's always a practice.
There's the
Okay.
first practice right after. Correct. Yeah.
What day is the 24th?
24th Wednesday, 23rd they
So
report
Wednesday.
Tuesday. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Wednesday. So it looks like Wednesday we'll have a later start to the show. Sean, that's
Okay.
probably what it is. Or is it a morning practice? Usually, right?
Yeah. Usually training camp goes in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, usually a 10:30 practice. All right, good. So it will
Yeah.
be an
Yeah.
afternoon show on Wednesday,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Take
All right,
notes.
good stuff there. Have Dolphin fans asked you if we're trading for Aiyuk already? Is that what's going on?
I don't know if the Dolphins are trading for Aiyuk, but probably more so the fear is if the Buffalo Bills end up trading for Aiyuk because they're going to be in the market for a replacement at wide receiver for Stephon Diggs. So that now Aiyuk in Mike McDaniel's offense would be tremendous. Obviously, there's a San Francisco connection there, same offense. So I think that there would be wonders to be worked there, but. Yeah, I feel like
I don't think it's going to happen at all, dude, because
no.
you have to trade a bunch of picks and you got to pay him.
Yeah,
That is
the kicker there.
and if you're Buffalo, you're trying to rebuild. I don't think you want to give away a bunch of picks and kill your cap space because you already have cap issues as it is. So
We
I
had to
don't
cut back a lot this offseason.
yeah, I don't think that makes any sense. And I don't think anybody trades for Brandon Ayuk because the asking price is going to be a couple of first rounders. And then you've got to go and pay him a top notch salary. I have a hard time seeing that happen. I think he either stays in San Francisco or he's going to deal with a frustrating stay in San Francisco. But either way, he's staying in San Francisco. I
Now,
don't
would the
know.
Vikings be a couple of first rounders or something less than that?
Or a first and a third or a first and a
First and
second.
something
But
else. Yeah.
but you're going to have to give up a couple of like high picks, let's say.
Sure.
But then you're also going to have to give up a salary on top of all of that and a big ass signing bonus. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I at least for the Bills coming off of all the issues they have, I know they need it because it's really easy to piece the puzzle, but fiscally and pick wise, that puts them they're not a receiver away from being special anymore. Put it that way.
Yeah, because we did already just see them with that receiver, Stephon Diggs, and actually it kind of fell apart a little bit. Stephon Diggs is his own attitude, his own personality probably had something to do with it, and not meshing well with Josh Allen, getting phased out of the offense too when they switched.
He didn't do shit the last 8 games actually of the season.
Yeah.
He was very mediocre in the last 8 games. But that's why I'm saying that they're in a transitional stage where I don't think that that's the responsible move for them at this point. If they were a receiver away from, winning a title, then I could understand something like that. You know what I mean? The Jets is the team that I could understand that because they have really basically one receiver. Basically, right? If I look at their roster, I think it's one receiver. And they're the ones that could trade to, hey, let's bring another receiver in because Mike Williams is a sack of injuries. It's just the Wilson kid, right? Who else? What else do they have?
You just say 1.5 because Mike Williams will be good for half the year, and then he'll be there and produce. But
yeah, he's solid, but again, it's not Waddle Tyreek. It's not it's not a real 1-2. Mike Williams is not a 1 or a 2 anymore. Put it that way. That's my point. He's really not a 1 or a 2 anymore. He's a 3. He's a complimentary guy. You use him because of his size, all of that, because he's not really a burner or anything like a 1 or a 2 are guys that can do anything and everything on the field. and that's not Mike Williams. You know what I'm saying? So I could see the Jets. Now they could be desperate enough because they're all in with Aaron Rodgers. That, I don't know if I don't know their cap situation. I don't know about the capital and all that. Maybe they don't have any of that. So I'm just coming off of ignorance. But I just don't think the Bills are the ones to make that move. That's all. Now the Dolphins, of course, they can make the move, right? So how many Dolphin fans have been asking for Brandon Aiyuk on top of Odell Beckham, Tyreek, and Watt?
I haven't been seeing it, to be honest, myself.
No, you're telling me the Dolphin Nation is satisfied? They've had their meal? They don't want more receivers?
I mean, if I would say if the whole scenario plays out where Tyreek Hill plays the last year of his guaranteed money, and then the Dolphins do not bring him back as
there you go.
As you have looked at your crystal ball and felt that would be the case. Now, then, yeah, you're looking for a Tyreek replacement after that, and if he's available following all of this going into next offseason, then yeah, I could totally see the McDaniel Aiyuk connection.
Oh, I can't, because what happens is it's a draft pick that fills that spot. Waddle gets elevated,
or draft pick is used to get sent over.
Huh?
Or a draft pick is used to get sent over in a trade. So
I don't see them taking in a big salary because they have to pay. Everything is coming to roost now. All the salaries they're paying, some of them are coming into their second years and all that. And so I just don't think that that's going to happen. I think that's why I think also Tyreek is gone too, because you can't extend him and then expect to keep everybody. It will sacrifice so many things that you want to do. And then that's the problem. You can only keep so many people. And at one point, you have to go and make another draft pick so you can develop that person. And 5 years from now, you're deciding, okay, we're keeping him long-term and we're parting ways with Waddle at that point. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of, or Waddle's taking a pay cut to finish off his career here or something like that. That's kind of the rotation that you want to get into if you're the Miami Dolphins. And I think that's what they're trying to do. They were trying to do that with Iggy, that, okay, all right, he's going to replace Byron, and then he takes over, and then eventually as X moves on, we would have acquired Jalen, and now you got Cam. So Cam is the guy that needs to replace either Kendall or Jalen Ramsey at one point or another. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the way I think you're planning. And I think next year, with your first or second round pick, it's going to be a wide receiver that's going to be the next understudy to become that guy. That's just my guess.
I hear you there. And with Igbenogany, then it ended up not working out, and then they stuck with X, and then brought in Jalen Ramsey, and then Cam Smith. I think it was already supposed to be for X, who now is gone, but then Kendall Fuller, because you don't know what you have yet in Cam Smith, you did bring in Kendall Fuller, so you hope Cam Smith will be that guy down the line at some point. And still, just going back to one other thing you said, when you mentioned the Bills not being a receiver away, it's not about you or I seeing that and feeling that they're not a receiver away. It's, do they feel they're a receiver away? Because if they feel they're a receiver away, then they'll go ahead and pull the trigger. So that's what the real matter is when it comes to that part of it.
Yeah. But I don't think they even think they're a receiver away, at this point. So it's interesting. All right. So anything on the Tua front? It looks like it may go into camp, huh? Just a little bit.
Yeah, now at this point, now there are things happening as far as we do see, but this is with players that are in the building already. Like we saw Jalen Phillips is working out. So the Dolphins just right before this segment announced that Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb are on the PUP list, and they did the same thing with a couple of rookies too. So
expected.
Yeah, right. So at least we are seeing some things happening. So maybe that opens something up. That okay, a week before training camp, maybe some negotiations can also go down. But it's looking more and more like, yep, we're going to get to that report day, and then we'll find out that first practice what Tua's actual how he will maneuver off of it. I wouldn't see it as a holdout or total hold in. Maybe he starts off camp doing the same thing of skipping out on 11 on 11s, at least for the start. put some pressure on the team, and then maybe they come to an agreement. But it would be a nice story if they just got it done one of these last few days, and then it's settled when
See, but the
everyone
thing
reports.
is, he can't do the hold-in crap. Why? He's under contract.
Yeah.
He's under contract. There's nothing to hold out for. You're not holding out for a contract. You have a contract. You're
Wilkins last year.
You're talking about an extension, but you're being paid right now. Once he reports, that's why he has to report to camp. That's why he can't hold out, because he's going to get fined $50,000 a day. The Dolphins know it, and they can't rescind that shit anymore. They used to do all that shit years ago. They'd, you will hold out, and then you'd agree, and there was $1 million, $3 million in fine. They rescinded and all that. No, there's no rescinding anymore. You got to pay that fine. So they know that. That's why I think it'll be handled with words, not with the actions. Won't help him, because he needs the practice. He needs to prove so he can still get that contract from his team anyway. So it doesn't benefit him to do any holding in, because then you create controversy. Then you will write about it. You will ask about it every single day. And so instead, I almost feel like he's going to douse the fire and say, hey, guys, we haven't agreed, and I'm not answering any more contract questions until the contract is done. I'm just going to talk football, and I'm going to practice football. And I can see him doing that instead, and just taking it on head on like that, and then just, letting it go and trying to avoid it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so you're saying that the pen is mightier than the sword in this case.
Yes. Yeah, I'm because he's under contract, he's fucked. And he's better actually to stay on the field, because he's being paid to be on the field. So he's better to say, okay, I'm going to show you, do what Warren Moon did years ago. Warren Moon years ago, he was in the middle of a contract squabble, and they were at a difference of opinion of what they should pay. And he said, all right, if I put up stats like a top three, you got to pay me like a top three. And sure enough, he went out there, put the top three, and they had to pay him like the top three. And so, and that's what he and his agent were saying, that he was top three, which he was. In those days, Warren Moon was, dude, he was a badass, bro. That guy could deal. Accurate as a mofo. You know what I'm saying? He never had to run or anything. He was a pure pocket passer that could beat you with his arm and his mind. That's the beauty of Warren Moon. And he took a gamble. And I think that Tua's either I get my deal, or I force them to give me my deal.
Yeah, but how much is Tua willing to gamble at this point? Because I think from his perspective, he's feeling like I proved what I needed to prove, and I just made it through a full season healthy, which was what you needed to see. And the last 2 years, I've led the league in different categories, whether it be passer rating 1 year and yards per attempt, and then lead the league in total passing the next year. So I think from his vantage point, he already wants to get paid like the top three, top whatever, based off of that, and match these new deals that we've seen in Jared Goff's $53 million per, and Trevor Lawrence's $55 million per year. So, and also when it comes to just whether the holdout and all the fines that come with it, there's always the workarounds nowadays, in like what Christian Wilkins was doing in the very similar situation last year. He's going into his 5th year option year of the rookie contract, and all right, he's at practice every day. He's there going through individual, all the other practice shit. But then when it comes to team drills, all right, sitting this one out, boys. We did that for a week or so, and until there was some remedy to the situation, and they just decided they won't talk about the contracts, and then eventually he goes off in free agency. So if all that does play out, then how willing would Tua be then to nego? No, I think he would be. I think if then, all right, he starts the season, he starts putting up the numbers. Yeah, come back around to me, and yeah, if we can meet the figure that we wanted on our side, go ahead and give it to me, because also at the end of the day, there are the 2 years of franchise tags the Dolphins can use if it does get to that point, and right, the ball's not really in his court when it comes to that. Of course, he could put up throw a fit over it, but at the end of the day, it would behoove him to be the best quarterback he can be for himself, and then whether it's with the Dolphins or if he's really taking a hard line to audition for any other team that would pay him the all that top dollar down the road. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I do think eventually the sides will come to an agreement and put a bow on this.
Yeah, I just think that the agents are pushing for, the top dollar, and hey, no, this is what and then they're saying, yeah, no, we need to build a team too, so we can't go crazy. We think this is a fair offer, and it's manageable for us. We understand how you feel about his worth, but we're not going to go crazy in the market here, and then it's going to stop us from growing as a team. So I think that's kind of the case, and then they'll put the heat on Tua. Okay, are you going to force them to give you all the money, and then they're going to tell you, well, okay, but this is going to hurt to build around you, and so it's kind of a give and take. So I think that's what's happening here, because you've got an agency that's going after top dollar.
For sure. And and if you're Tua's representation, you're saying exactly that. Like, look, he has led the league in passing yards. He made it through a full season healthy. You shouldn't be concerned about his health concerns anymore. And the previous year, first one under Mike McDaniel, made that huge year 3 leap and had the 25 touchdowns to 8 interceptions and led the league in passer rating and yards per attempt. But then on the Dolphins side, you're saying, yeah, but hold on a second. I mean, that was only 1 full season healthy. There's still a lot of lingering things that are overarching when it comes to this, and also that the roster we have built around Tua in bringing in Tyreek Hill, having Jalen Waddle develop along with him, and the run game, everything else that has played a huge part into his development, and that we want to continue to build a roster around him. That we don't want to have to find out, can he do it by himself when he's getting paid top dollar. We would like to keep building this roster around him so that he has all the tools that he needs, that we've already seen are effective when he has all the tools. We don't want to go finding out, can he do it himself without a receiver? Just keep putting a solid roster around him.
Yep, I agree with you. All right, what are you working on this weekend so folks can check you out before rookies report next week?
Yeah, just all of my portions of the Countdown to Camp are up. Perk and I, we kind of like switched off on weeks that we were working on these. So Perk has another series of Countdown to Camp storylines coming up. And then I will just be previewing training camps begin and then getting into it once they report and start practicing next week.
You got it. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend. We will catch up on Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Thank you. There you go, David Furones. And, of course, Welt Rheaume. The best. They are Bulldogs. They are your left and right tackle. Bankruptcy, a lot of folks, unfortunately, are dealing with it because, they tell you, inflation's down and all that, but it's kind of hard to get through this economy. And so, unfortunately, some Americans are dealing with some tough financial issues. Call Welt Rheaume. They can get you out of those issues and get those creditors off your back. 954-966-4646. Homeowner property damage, condo damage, business owner claims. Any storms, any water storms, any water damage, any hurricane damage, whatever it is, call Welt Rheaume. They have their own adjusters, and then they will send their adjusters, and they will call the insurance company for you. You won't have to deal with any of that. The only thing you got to deal with is picking up a check at the offices of Welt Rheaume in Hollywood. 954-966-4646. By the way, criminal defense. So, you having some issues? Call Welt Rheaume, okay? Any of you out there that had that issue with the Copa, couldn't get in, you got issues with your tickets, whatever, Welt Rheaume. They can help. 954-966-4646.